world is changing, the world's on fire. I wanna do my part to inspire change.
Where are we now? We are caught in the great chasm between the end of one world and the early beginnings of a new one. Either nearly all is destroyed, or this is the time for another order to emerge. So be not afraid, dear friends. You were made for these times. And when I speak of you, we human beings, that we are also part of the larger cosmos, the great oneness, the great unity that longs for us to wake up to the fact that we are not only in the most interesting time and the most critical time in human history, but that we have within us, between us, all of us together, the great opportunity to create the new world. Who are we? We are the ones who can make the difference and help co-create the new story. Many of us, those of you who are lucky to have the book in your hand and are reading this book, are proclaiming the need for a deeper story, a truer story, a great story, one that helps us understand what is really happening. And we need an alternative, yes? If not this, then what? We need a new story. We need a narrative that people everywhere, of all cultures, all backgrounds, ages, recognize as their deepest longing. We need a narrative that can evoke and inspire. But right now, there seems to be in too many people no lure of becoming. And yet, this is the open moment. Dear friends, this is the time to turn the page of history, each one of us individually and all together before it's blistered and burnt beyond repair. This is when the strategic yearning for a new, reinvigorated world must be met by you, by me, by all of us now. This is a time, one of those great, rare times in human history. This is the time for deep imagination. This is the time for going beyond the familiar confines of what we know and have known. When I was very young, 7 or 8 years old, I was fortunate to go to a school that took us to meet the great elders of the time. And we were taken to Princeton to meet Albert Einstein. Well, he came in, he looked a little vague, he had a lot of hair. I think he had on 2 different colored socks. He said, "Yeah, what do you want?" And one of our smart aleck boys said, "Mr. Einstein, how can we get to be as smart as you?" And he said, "Read fairy tales." We did not like that answer at all. So another boy said, "Mr. Einstein, how can we get to be smarter than you?" He said, "Read more fairy tales." I knew something wonderful was happening. I knew a great truth. And I went up to him afterwards. I said, "Mr. Einstein, you're talking about imagination, aren't you?" Yeah, imagination. You know, it is my main quality, imagination. People think I'm a mathematician. No, it's my imagination. I imagine myself on the light beam flying through the cosmos, and suddenly I am the cosmos and I understand the way things work. My child, the fairy tales I'm talking about the real tales, the tales of the imagination. Well, that stayed with me all my life, and I knew I had to keep it alive for something, somewhere, and it is now. This is the time, dear friends, to awaken our capacity to imagine, to envision, to create the sound, the shape, the feel of hope, and the potential new world. Feel it moving in your bones, rising in your spirit, this potential new world that works for all. And this is exactly what Pioneering Pathways offers. The first chapters of our emerging new story. This is our story with each page, with each chapter, co-authored by all of us. People literally everywhere, people who yearn to explore and believe that there is a new world coming, and they are part of it in the fullness of our purpose, our passion, and our potential, which is waiting for us to wake up. The universe herself is waiting now. It's a time of great awakening. And this book, this marvelous book, this world-creating book, shows us the extraordinary power of our individual and collective possibility to transform destruction, turn it into regeneration as we follow the lure into full Earth citizenship. Pioneering Pathways moves us to a step closer to the emergence of an inclusive Earth civilization, one in which we all embody the social artistry of creative partnership with the living universe. So take this book for what it really is, the turning of the page of history, the urgent invitation to each of you who reads it to add your page to this collective story, this magnificent story, to recognize yourself, you, everywhere, wherever you are now. Please recognize yourself as co-author and co-creator of our future. Thank you, and blessings to all.
Let's live together with our differences. Let's make home for humanity in our heart. You're no black, no white, no yellow, no brown. But remember, the unity of all life is the source and sustenance of our humanity. Apri le porte de nuestra cuerda al amor de la humanidad. The unity within us, between us, and with all forms of life. The unity within us, between us, and with all forms of life. Let's live together with